It is one of the biggest mistakes people make when they leave their jobs. They roll their 401k over to an IRA, and it likely initially lands at a market type cash account that pays a marginal rate of interest. There's a new Vanguard study that found that nearly a third of rollovers were still sitting in cash 7 years later, missing out on substantial gains from the stock market. Here's wealth manager Ed Murphy on Yahoo Finance.
Unfortunately, it happens more often than it should. There's a couple things that you can do to avoid it. One is you can stay in the plan. So when you change jobs or retire, you don't necessarily have to take the money out and roll it to an IRA. Oftentimes, it's better to leave it in the plan and get the benefit of better pricing, oftentimes diversified products that you can take advantage of. But to the extent that people do want to roll it over, it's really important that you consult with an advisor so that when you do roll it to another institution and you roll it into an IRA, the money doesn't sit there. It actually gets put to work based on what your investment objectives are.
Now, I know when clients or prospective clients come in, one of the things that you guys do is offer that complimentary second opinion, taking a look. How often do you catch mistakes like this before it costs a new client too much?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is I want to kind of respond to Ed Murphy's leaving the money in the plan statement. You know, I had a situation several years ago where I met with a lady, and she let me know that she has had 5 different jobs over her lifetime.
Okay.
And every one of those 5, she left the money within the plan. And when I started doing the research on the investments held within that plan, I could pick, without looking at any statements, which ones were from the jobs when she was young to which one is the current, because the risk level was wildly varied from one plan to the next. And when you're in your 50s or maybe even your 60s, if you were at job number 1 for a long time, you might be really high on the risk spectrum in terms of where your money is invested. See, I think you need to meet with a professional, and I think you need to really craft not only the plan, which is the retirement team action plan, but you also need to have your investment policy statement of where you're going to invest your money crafted before you even consider a rollover. And I would say this, Chris, when we do business here, that's one of the things we absolutely have to do when we bring on a new client. We have to craft the investment policy statement. Since we are a fiduciary here at the Retirement Guys Formula, we have to be able to lay out how this rollover is in the best interest of the client. So having the meaningful discussions is very, very important. In fact, Nolan and I last week met with a gal who's going to probably be retiring in the next 12 months. And that was the whole synopsis of why we won the case, was because we put together the game plan of how her money should be invested. She liked each component of the plan. And then when we rolled the money over, we automatically earmarked funds for different investment strategies that we had picked for her. So, you know, a fiduciary is required to do that kind of stuff. So I would be very embarrassed if I had a person retire and their money roll over into some kind of cash account. I will say that right now we use Charles Schwab in those accounts, and Charles Schwab is paying 5.14% on cash, which is a very good rate. But as we just discussed in the last segment, when are those rates likely to drop? And it could be sooner rather than later. So, you know, you have to develop an investment strategy prior to executing the rollover. You want to go through the retirement team action plan, which is taxes, estate planning, money management, and asset protection. So you want to have those discussions. And you also want to take that retirement team action plan and implement it into our independent income system, because there needs to be sources of reliable, ironclad, guaranteed income sources, of which Social Security will most likely be one of them. but to make sure that when you retire, that all of your needs, your basic needs for monthly cash flow are covered. And so that's what we do at America's Retirement Headquarters. It would be a time well spent for anyone to come in here and meet with the team and to start traveling down the road to setting up a retirement strategy that is tailored to their individual needs.
Because you definitely don't want to, have these 401ks, these orphan 401ks as they're called, especially as you mentioned, if you've got multiple in different jobs, maybe hard to keep track of them. What is the saying? Out of sight, out of mind. If there are fees and, a bad market performance due to your risk score, it becomes out of sight, out of mind, out of money. And you definitely don't want that. So taking charge of it and not just figuring out how to do it, but why to go about it. And very much that measure twice, cut once situation. The guys at the Retirement Guys Formula, America's Medicare Associates, America's Retirement Headquarters, they can help you craft that plan and not just craft it, but explain to you the whys, the ins and outs, educating you, helping you make those informed decisions. It all begins with that phone call, 419-794-3030, or you can go to the website and find out more about the independent income system and the retirement team action plan right there at arhq.com.